we? Okay, I'm just waiting for the thing to see.
Are we?
Okay, fine. It doesn't instantly do anything.
Are we
Just give it a second.
Yeah, it started now.
started?
Yeah.
One's in the chat.
One's in the chat.
Hold on, let me
I'm
get
gonna
in the
do
chat
the
and type a
millennial
one.
thing. Are we live?
Are we live? Ayo, put where you from? What city? What country?
I don't think there's any more people than this, unfortunately. But yeah, it's been going on.
All right. Well, we are here today to talk about a couple of things. We want to talk about the movies that we've seen, the shows we've watched, everything that we're enjoying in the world of media, movies, TV shows. All of that, all the fun stuff that we enjoy. So I think the first thing that we're going to talk about, the first thing on the docket, is Shazam 2, Fury of the Gods. I think that's the subtitle. Right?
Yeah. Should we introduce ourselves first, or?
We can do that. Yeah. My name is OC.
I'm Chuku.
I'm Christine.
I'm Crystal.
Scott.
All right. So for context, a couple of us have seen Shazam, a couple of us have not.
I think it's only. Wait, sorry, Crystal. You seen Shazam 2 or no?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, I didn't think you would.
So three of us.
You didn't think I would? Why not? You know I'm ride or die DC, even if I don't want to be.
Yeah, that's kind of the issue with a lot of us. We all are in that camp. But yeah, me, Chuku, Crystal have seen Shazam 2. Scott and Christine have not seen Shazam 2. I'm curious why you guys decided not to watch it.
Because it looks terrible. So
I think it was after watching the latest Marvel Ant-Man movie. Just superhero movies in general have like disappointed me for a while now. In the past
well,
year.
you didn't like Ant-Man?
Ant-Man 3?
Ant-Man 3.
anybody
Did
like
you?
Ant-Man?
You like
Honestly,
Ant-Man
it kind of did.
This is hot take. We got a hot take.
It was comedic. All right,
Sudden
besides the
turn of
point.
events.
Did we talk about Ant-Man? You guys did.
Yes,
right?
we did.
But Christine wasn't here.
Yeah. Am I the only one who likes Ant-Man?
Ant-Man 3?
Yeah,
Yes.
the newest one.
The
Yes.
only one in the world.
The only one in the world.
I want to hear this hot take.
Yeah, get into it.
Okay,
I'm,
I
like,
mean,
neutral.
it was pretty comedic to me, and yeah, that was pretty much it. But plotline story, like, it wasn't as great, but in terms of my expectations, it met it. So
Interesting.
It's weird because it's like it is essentially like a filler. This film, I feel like. So, like, how good can it be? Like, what are you expecting at this point? Like, I feel like Marvel had its heyday, and now it's like Marvel, but like superhero movies in general, that bubble's gonna pop soon. I think. I think it's starting. It's starting to get a little tired. It's starting to get a little
to the point where I don't even
oversaturated.
think I'm gonna watch Guardians 3 like when it comes out.
I'm gonna watch that because I'm a Guardians fan.
yeah.
Yeah, like I watched Ant-Man because I'm an Ant-Man fan. He's like my favorite Avenger.
Exactly.
Yeah. But
Like I watched Thor because I'm a Thor fan, but like
Oh, Thor
I
was
watched Doctor
disappointing.
Strange because I was a Doctor Strange fan.
Okay, that was.
But like we've got like James Gunn, right? He's like
That's
they brought
true, it
him
is
back
James Gunn.
for, and that's like
But
like
it
the
was Taika
spirit.
Waititi.
Well, but they didn't. It was open ended. We know that this is the final Guardians film, so it's
That's
a little
true, yeah.
contextually, it's a little different. I'm gonna give it a chance. It could be the last Marvel movie I watch. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But
I'm not saying it's the last Marvel movie or superhero movie. I will eventually watch Shazam 2 when it comes out on like I don't know
Streaming platforms.
streaming, yeah.
HBO.
But I just didn't feel like going into the theater paying money to watch it because it felt like it wasn't going to be good, you know.
I don't think it's even worth watching,
we
to be
can
honest.
confirm
There you go.
wow, we made the right choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like
Was it
there's-
really that bad?
Yes.
Wait, first of all, what was the runtime?
I think it was like
Over 2 hours.
Is it
Wow.
like 2
Yeah.
hours and 30 minutes around there.
No,
No,
it's
it wasn't
not
2:30. It was like 2
2:30.
hours and 3 minutes.
Yeah,
It was over 2 hours for sure. I don't think it was 2 hours and a half.
It wasn't. Yeah, it didn't feel like a super long movie.
Maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's one good thing.
Yeah, especially given the way that they approached it. But
Yeah, you're right. 2
Yeah.
hours and 10 minutes.
I mean, you brought up something interesting earlier, is like just even attempting to do like a Captain Marvel / Shazam film of all the
Yeah.
DC characters, and there's like
Yeah.
a lot of great ones they chose to do. Billy
I mean,
Batson.
this is unfortunately
Yeah.
just a result of the poor planning that DC has had over the last like 10 years. the way that they chose their projects prior, it didn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to do something like Shazam without having a specific plan. You have to have, because Billy Batson's supposed to be a kid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Supposed to be a kid, and having him be like on the cusp of 18, but the actor's like 29. Like it doesn't make a lot of sense. And you watching it, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, there's like, you know, the running gag of like them being like, all of them, like the whole Shazam family, like being really young and then being like romantically linked or like flirting with like older people. I don't know, maybe that's the reason they went with like an older actor, so that they could be like, oh well, he's borderline legal or something like that.
I think here's my take on this. I think because we have to understand, right, with the first Shazam, which is what I actually like the first one, they're trying to play off this concept of what would it be like if you were a kid or a teen and you had superpowers, right? And I think they're just exploring the mindset, particularly of a teenage boy, or if it's like, yo, if I have a teenage boy and I have an adult body, of course I'll try to get at Wonder Woman kind of a thing. You know what I'm saying? So I think especially the first one, I like how they explored that concept, and I like that it was more comedic and dramatic. But this one, they try to go completely comedic, and it was fail after fail. I mean, there were some highlights, right? Like, I think what's that one kid in the disabled
Freddie Freeman.
Okay, that kid has Riz, but point is, but yeah, like stuff like that.
Did he though?
I mean, okay, my definition of Riz is charisma, all right? Not it's charisma.
But the way that the plot was is like it didn't even matter. Like
because she was going
after him.
Yeah, but I'm talking about charisma as in like actual charisma. That's what I mean by Riz. I don't mean the actor has charisma. Basically, that's what I'm saying. The point is, he was very entertaining to be around.
That's true.
That's true. Obviously, Zach, he was entertaining and all that stuff. But it's just, to me, again, it just seemed like they didn't really play off that concept in the second, or they did, but they didn't really utilize it as much as the first one, and it was a letdown.
It's interesting that you bring up those two actors specifically, like the kid that plays, well, he's like almost adult now, but the person that plays Freddie Freeman and Zachary Levi are probably the most charismatic people on the screen. They're definitely the most magnetic of the entire cast, which is crazy to me because like, in the first movie, the Zachary Levi, like, kind of, like, acting, like, all, like, hyper, like, in the first one, it was cool. It was, like, fine to see in that movie. In this one, it just seemed a lot more annoying, like, way more tired, like, his just acting, like, borderline, like, hyper, like, ADHD, where, like, it just doesn't make sense when he goes back into, like, Billy Batson's teen body, and that kid has, like, no presence on screen.
Exactly.
No energy. When I see him, he's very like emo looking.
Yes.
Like, he just acts like he barely emotes, honestly. And then so when he like goes into adult form, Zachary Levi like acting all bouncing all over the place.
Yeah.
There's a disparity.
There's
there.
incongruence.
So this was an interesting tidbit I saw, is that like Zachary Levi first auditioned for the adult like Marvel version of Freddie Freeman's character. And so that brings into question like,
wait, Marvel?
Like they're all Captain Marvel,
oh yeah,
right?
Marvel,
They're like
okay.
the even like Mary Marvel. So we're just gonna call them the Marvels, kind of.
Fair.
I know it doesn't make sense. It's a DC Marvel thing, but whatever. So it's like I think they should have cast what's his name, but anyway, the person that played Freddie Freeman, he should have been Billy Batson.
He should have.
He like they kind of brought him on as like comedic, like tension breaker in the first film. But he's just like an all-around like better.
Is he disabled in real life?
No,
I don't think so. No,
it's just I don't know why they did that. Like they underutilized him by like just making him like he even had like a more interesting plot in the second one than like Billy Batson did. Arguably,
exactly.
That's true.
He should have been Billy Batson to begin with because he's more like a hyper kid than Billy Batson is. He is way more similar to how Zachary Levi acts as Captain Marvel / Shazam.
That makes a lot of sense.
So that was like a big blunder, I feel like, on casting part.
That totally makes sense because this Billy, I can't imagine him being obsessed with Wonder Woman because he was like, oh, I'm a fan of Wonder Woman. That doesn't make sense. This guy didn't care about any superhero movies. But the other guy, like you said, Fred, he was like obsessed with Batman.
True.
He was obsessed with all these superheroes. So it would make more sense if he was Shazam.
Talking about in the way they established it in the first one.
Yeah, the way they established it, even the second one.
So basically, the writing is bad. I can't think of a single line that Billy Batson says. Like, he had like 2 lines in this second one. It's like
He said Shazam.
exactly
That counts for something.
I think it would be cool if like we liked Billy Batson.
Yeah.
But, like, I mean, as his own form, but like I didn't really like. He's just like so not memorable.
That, and there was just so many like stupid like decisions. Like, for example, like there's one part where they lose their powers, right, or they lose their abilities, but then they're able to get it back. And I was thinking to myself, okay, Billy,
They got the staff back.
he has the staff. He can just make them all heroes. But he's like, no, I have to sacrifice
kill
myself. And I'm like, bruh, you could have literally have all your family be heroes and stop this villain. But no, I have to sacrifice myself. And it was just, I don't get why dude made that decision. It's just
Spoilers. Spoilers.
Yeah,
It's not a
For
big-
a movie you don't care about.
none of this.
Yeah.
I'm
seems-
kind of with Chuka though. I enjoyed the first movie. I thought the second one would at least be like
exactly.
decent, but
Yeah, and then they like, even though there's a bunch of great DC villains in the DC wheelhouse, they like this concept of like the daughters, like they are brand new, like there's original
That's
characters.
a weird decision.
And
yeah,
do we like them? Like they're
I-
all right.
No.
I think Helen Mirren is a great actress. I think Lucy Liu is a great actress.
I have no idea why
but
they decided to
Underutilized,
Yeah.
yeah.
in a superhero movie in this context.
Like, how
it
did
didn't
they
make-
get them?
I don't
Like,
know.
that's-
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. You have these, very well-known and respected actresses, and you make up random villains for them to play, like in
Yeah.
a like C-tier movie. Like, I don't know.
They killed those roles. They like acted, the crap out of them. But like, does it matter?
I don't
No.
think so.
Is it
think so.
lasting? No.
yeah.
But
so basically
Yeah.
Shazam 2 is a dud.
Yep.
Pretty much. I mean, there's some fun stuff, I suppose. Like there were some laughs. There were some cool fights.
Really?
Yeah, they had. Some
Okay,
cool
I guess.
fights.
I guess.
They
I
had
like
some
the
cool
unicorn design.
fights. The unicorns looked cool.
Yeah, I liked the
Everything
idea
up
of
to
a scary
them.
unicorn.
Everything up to them was kind of stupid.
Let's not forget, taste the rainbow.
They literally said "taste the
my
rainbow."
God.
I don't care. You know what? I had to find my enjoyment somewhere, so I like that part. It was very like Thor.
It got the Thor treatment.
I don't know. I honestly
Thor
think
4
Thor
treatment.
4 was actually better.
That's fair.
I honestly think it's better.
All right, I don't want to watch Shazam 2 now.
It's interesting too watching every DC film post this like James Gunn news, because it's like these movies are like their
There's
own
no point.
franchise that is on
Yeah.
its like dying breath.
Yeah,
so it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
weird seeing everything like fizzle out. It's like kind of
I think that Shazam
That
got a very
context.
disappointing opening box office, and I don't know how much of it is because the audience is aware of that this is like the end of this DC era. Because
I think it's a little bit of like us too, like they know these movies aren't that good.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it was interesting because I didn't really see much marketing. Like, even when I figured out, oh, Shazam's going to come out the 25th, I was like, well, or not 25th. When I figured out Shazam was coming out, I was like, whoa, I didn't really see much trailers. I didn't see nothing of it.
I think that's like because they're trying to save on ad spend. If they're projecting like that they're not gonna make a ton of money on it anyways, it's like might as well save on ad spend, because that costs a lot too to advertise. Might as well save on that anyways by not marketing a lot,
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I didn't watch it then.
Yeah. Oh well. We'll have a new DC soon,
Hopefully.
hopefully.
and hopefully the Flash is fine, even though Ezra Miller is in there, and hopefully Blue Beetle is good, and that'll be like a good closeout for like DC. And I hope they keep
thing
Xolo
is-
Maridueño.
The thing is that, so we know that James Gunn is going to keep Peacemaker.
His favorites. He's
Yeah.
gonna keep his own characters.
He's going to keep Peacemaker. He's probably going to keep Amanda Waller.
Oh, yes.
Viola Davis. I don't think it would be wise to lose her as an actress. And then but then that kind of begs the question of like, okay, so how are you keeping these characters in your brand new universe, and then what other characters are you going to be able to keep?
It could work with the Flash movie coming, because that Flashpoint is essentially the story that brings in the new 52, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was the refresh of all the stories of all the heroes in DC. Maybe if that's the framework, maybe that's how he's keeping Peacemaker and all this.
Maybe.
Because he's at least kind of a connection between the two DC things. I think it's kind of safe to say that Ezra Miller is not going to be a part of like future projects. It would be weird if he was.
That would be like that would be the biggest blunder that they could ever.
But the movie was already made and people say it's good.
The movie, that was the issue with the Flash movie, is that it was already made. It was already made by the time that Ezra Miller started like really doing a ton of those crazy stuff that he was doing. But
so maybe Peacemaker is the new Flash in this instance. He's going to be the connection between that old universe and these new stories. And this is maybe they're going to give it like a new 52 kind of treatment.
I can see that.
Wait, so
I mean, they're copying the Flashpoint paradox. It looks like they're doing Flashpoint paradox.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I honestly can't. I don't feel any excitement over this, even though I'm a huge DC fan. Even though I like superhero stuff, the past movies have just made me feel zero excitement for whatever reason.
But it's going to be a whole like new leaf, you know, like it's going to be by someone who hasn't really led us astray before. I mean, think of all like the James Gunn projects, even like Suicide Squad 2 was good. You know, obviously like all of Guardians are good. Peacemaker was a fun watch.
A James Gunn project, though.
I know, but I'm saying like once him and you know, whatever he's calling his team, I forget. Like after they do their refresh, I am interested in those stories. I don't know if you saw like any of the announcements, but it's like it's actual DC characters that people like and care about. And he said, like, this is verbatim, that he is going off of like the like old like cartoons, like Justice League Unlimited, you know, the Batman animated series.
I think I just need to watch a really good one and then I'll buy into it.
Yeah, okay. The only thing I'm confused about is that, because obviously Peacemaker, it's in the same universe with the original Justice League.
That's what I'm saying.
So how that's going to work in the new season where it's
gotta,
like...
Yeah, well, it's got to be like some kind of new 52 type thing, because like that's going to be like kind of retconned.
Yeah.
But like he has to handle it in a way that makes sense. And I mean, that's kind of like what the new 52 was. It's like they shifted to give all of the heroes new stories when that happened way back when it did.
You can just say they had the same exact origin.
You could, but they just need to make good movies. Like if they make great movies that people love, then people will probably be able to forgive that transition.
They will make movies, but I think the opportunity is in prestige television, because a lot of the announcements that were made were that there were going to be shows on HBO based on, like they're doing a Green Lantern one where it's going to be Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, and they said it's going to be like True Detective,
yes,
kind of cool. Yeah, so it's going to be like space crimes, and I'm into that.
And True Detective is like a very specific aesthetic. Is so good. That it's like if so it's going to be film noir. That as in a superhero like that would be amazing.
Film noir Lantern Corps, and that rhymes, and I love it. No. True Detective is pretty. Have you seen True Detective?
No, I haven't.
No, yeah, he's
not off. It's film noir.
It's noir, but it is a very like it's a very specific thing. But yeah, and the Batman is great. So
that's what I'm saying is like there is an opportunity here, because we know that HBO typically tries to not miss with its shows, right? Like we know that prestige television is a great gateway for people to get interested into franchises. Like look at The Last of Us, like that blew up, right? And then like House of Dragons, people didn't think they were gonna like Game of Thrones anymore because it ended so badly.
Yeah, me.
But people came back into it refreshed because HBO. Well, you should. It's good, but people came back into that show refreshed. So I'm saying, if there's a pattern here with HBO not missing with their prestige television, I think there's the opportunity there for DC to come back in strong. Yeah. Right? And I'm looking forward to that because I miss, DC characters, good ones at least.
They do have they have that specific advantage because of HBO, and they're so.
They have to lean into that. They
Since
have
we're on
to.
the topic of HBO, do you guys want to just transition into Last of Us?
I don't know. Then I'm leaving.
We could quickly, if you want to come back later, and then
Sure, tell
since
me.
we're on the. All right, I'll text.
Because Shuku hasn't finished this.
Yeah, so we're getting to spoiler territory for Last of Us.
Maybe we'll say spoiler before we say
spoiler.
everything
So,
we're about to say.
If you haven't
So
seen
spoiler.
The Last of Us, if you have not seen The Last of Us, I would say come back in like 10, 15 minutes. But
But I also don't feel bad because the game has been out
For 10 years,
for
yeah.
10 years, and if you avoided spoilers this long, it's like you might as well get spoiled if you haven't seen all of it already. Like it's on
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, sorry. Well, next time I'll make like a spoiler tag, and
Okay.
if we're like talking about spoilers the whole time,
It'll be on the screen.
Yeah, it'll be on the screen. Because if someone were to come in and then just hear a spoiler, kind of
yo,
sucks.
Something in the comments
The Last
like-
of Us was crazy. Oh man.
Are we going into it? Are we
Let's get into
Yeah,
it.
okay.
Let's get into it. How did you guys? So who here has played the games? Nobody.
I've like watched.
You've watched it.
I've watched entire gameplay.
I played
also.
the games. You didn't play the games. Did anybody know? You knew about the ending of the season before it
Yeah,
happened.
I wish I didn't, but yeah.
Did you guys know about the ending of the season?
No, I
Yeah.
did not.
You did?
Yeah.
I did not.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess I'm the only one who was like,
Yeah, we're surprised.
whoa.
Then I want to hear. I want to hear from you, Scott. Did it hit? Did the ending hit?
Okay, in what ways? Because I completely disagree with Joel. Like, I think his actions were like uncalled for,
Interesting.
and I think there was
Even
like a
knowing what he's been through,
yeah,
like
yeah.
in the mind of Joe, I kind of understand why he did it.
like
I'm with Scott.
But there is no guarantee that they could have done anything to get a cure because this doctor like it's just like a regular doctor. It's not
Have you
even a
watched
specialist.
Gameplay of the second game.
I think
No,
Okay,
I haven't.
I think that
So that's biasing you right now.
I think it is.
Okay.
let's not mention spoilers for that because I, don't want to.
It's not crazy, but there is
It's
some
pretty
more
crazy.
There's
The second game.
the second game is like it kind of gives a little more context. I'm not going to go in any further than that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I will say that you watched entire gameplay of the game like all the way through.
The first season, yeah.
No, I mean like of
first-
the first game.
Yeah, sorry, the first game. Sorry.
Maybe okay, so I watched gameplay at least maybe like up until a halfway point, and then I just saw the end, like
What?
the end of the
That's
game.
interesting.
Basically, like the last episode, I saw that part of the game.
So you missed like the cannibals.
Yeah, and I missed Ellie fighting for her life in that one part of the game, I guess, when she's like fighting against the pastor and the cannibals
Yeah.
and
I thought that was a good episode.
That was
That cannibals
great.
episode.
That was great.
I don't know if that might have primed me too, but it didn't feel like with that context and seeing I've seen gameplay of the entire of the second game.
Okay,
Plus-
don't think about the second game.
Yeah, I'm just saying
the
like
first
what I
game.
have in my experience, and then I've seen the entire series. Right, I'm with Scott. I don't think Joel has earned my sympathy, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not trying to be like self-righteous, but like in a situation like that, like I would think of like the greater good too, and like they tried their damnedest to like show us all the trauma that
Yeah.
Joel went through, but even after that, I just feel like I don't know. Maybe I'm built different. Even if I went through all that trauma, I wouldn't doom everyone.
I kind
Here's the
of
thing. I think that you have this situation where generally I think we can understand that what Joel did was wrong.
yeah.
But I also think that we can understand why somebody who is in that position would do what Joel did. A lot of people, because like it's interesting. I saw something that like a lot of people, there was like a survey done, and a lot of people who are parents agree with Joel. Like they because they have that direct connection
Yeah.
that they feel personally. They're like, yeah, if I was in Joel's position, I would kill everybody in that hospital. And so it's
Oh,
like,
that's not the way.
But here's the thing, like
yeah, it's like we can objectively look at this situation and be like, yeah, okay, if all of humanity has a hope, even if it's not a for sure thing, if they have a hope of possibly a cure. And this is like even like a 20% chance. It's like it might be worth it to try to save the whole world. Like objectively, you can look at the situation and make that assessment. But if you're the person in that position, if you're the parent of the person in that position, then all of a sudden the rules change, and you can understand why somebody would make that
definitely
choice.
I also think that they like to cover all your bases. They should have let Ellie know, like, you will die.
But
Exactly.
but
I don't
even
think
still,
she's not dumb. I think she like kind of maybe had an inkling
that she was
that
gonna die.
maybe.
Well,
Maybe.
you don't know
But
that.
even still,
you don't know that.
Like, imagine you're Marlene, right? So you're somebody who has gone through the whole like mental debate of whether one girl's life is worth just like hope for all of humanity, and you've already made the decision that like, yeah, this has to be done. Is it worth it at that point to let her know? Like, is because that at that point you're kind of just putting all of this undue burden and pressure on this girl when the decision kind of has already been made by everybody else around her.
I think it's just
like, if-
That was her choice, though.
No. If we're valuing her choice, then
this is also her best friend's kid.
you can't.
So
Sure. Sure. But
I
if you're-
feel
if
like
we're
she
valuing-
should have talked to Ellie about it.
But if we value her personal choice, then we also have to value Joel's choice as well. Otherwise, their choices don't matter. Like, their choice doesn't matter. If Joel's choice doesn't matter because what he did was wrong, then Ellie's choice doesn't matter as much either. If we're saying that Joel's choice as the pseudo father in that position doesn't matter, because we're talking about like for the greater good. That doesn't
Yeah.
all of a sudden change because Ellie's like, I kind of don't want to die.
No, but like here's the thing, because Joel represents people. He doesn't represent the greater good. Like throughout the whole
No,
story,
he
that
doesn't.
he is not on that side, and Marlene is. Marlene is on that side. She's part of the Fireflies,
thinks
whatever.
She is, yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's what she represents, right? The
Right.
greater good. And
Sure.
sometimes you have to kind of blur the lines in order to do good for everybody else.
Which
But-
side are you arguing for, OC?
I'm not necessarily arguing for any side. I'm saying that if you're going to go down the road that what Joel did was wrong, then I think it makes sense the way that Marlene went about it without telling Ellie anything. I think it makes sense because if we're saying that Joel did the wrong thing because he kind of doomed the rest of humanity, I don't know how you then put that choice into the hands of a 14-year-old girl about like the fate of all of humanity.
But it's
Well, to
her
be-
life too. It's her life helping the rest of humanity. She should have a say.
Sure, but
Because nobody would have known.
Okay, is your own
Unless they
personal-
killed,
is your own personal life worth more than like the life of your loved ones?
To be fair, I think Ellie would have done it. I think Ellie would have
Maybe,
sacrificed
yeah,
herself.
you're probably right, but I don't know if that matters.
But also, we don't know. Okay, this is still season. We don't know if the doctor who was gonna take her brain, whatever, is specialized in that. Like, if they even have the proper things to be able to come up with a cure, right?
Sure, but then from their perspective, it's like there's at least a hope.
Yeah, there's a hope, but it's not a guarantee.
It's not guaranteed.
Yeah. And to what you're saying, OC, I think, that's up to us whether or not it matters. But
ultimately, it's up to like.
but for
the
me
audience.
personally, I think everyone's case matters, right? We're watching a show. We want to be invested in the characters, each side. That's what makes it interesting. So, in my opinion, the Fireflies just did it wrong completely. Like, they have a guy that thinks he can get a cure if he does some brain surgery that will kill Ellie. Maybe they could try to find other people to help more, maybe not, but if they think that's their only way, they should still at least communicate that to Ellie and Joel to at least give them some time to think about it.
But what would they be thinking about?
I think it's just morally, right? Morally.
Okay.
I think the Fireflies' only mistake was not shooting Joel right there.
I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
if they had
That
already
was-
made that decision, that
At
should have
that
been
point, like,
You're right.
yeah,
what they did. But
That's on them.
But yeah, but we're talking about giving them an opportunity to think about it. Like, what are they going to think about?
So maybe they can give Ellie like a week of life or something, or just like give her time. Because in my opinion, she would have decided to like give up her life to do the thing.
Like
Maybe-
just to
So
be more
maybe she
humane.
could maybe she could convince Joel afterwards. Like
But then it's
maybe
like,
she
okay,
could get like a extra week or two, something to say her goodbyes or whatever. I
But
don't
then
know.
she's on like death's row for a week. Like she's
Yeah.
contemplating her,
But
her
I
impending
see
death.
I see what
for
you're
all of this
saying.
time.
Like
it's like
for the
yeah.
greater good, like they should have sacrificed her anyway. It's just one life versus many, right?
I'm saying I think that's a more consistent framework than to say that they should have let her know, but then also Joel was wrong. Like,
Yeah. I mean, in an ideal situation, she could have just lived out more of her life and then done it when like she was older and lives, like a fuller
but then
life.
you run into the issue of like all the other people that die in between that time.
That's true.
Or she could live longer to ensure that what they have is like the means that they have, the capabilities that they have would be able to, the success rate would be higher. Like,
Sure.
Because I feel like they're rushing into it. They have a doctor.
Yeah, they definitely
We
rushed
don't
into it.
know.
I think that's one of the issues.
And Joel is also a changed person by the time, like at the end. I think you could clearly see that in the last episode.
Like-
He cares for her now, whereas before he was very stoic and emotionless and just wanted to get by life. And the only person who he cared about was Tommy.
Yeah. I think in an ideal situation, like from a viewer's perspective, like something feels off, right? I think in every case of what would have happened to that, like with them not knowing what we know as viewers, like either kill Ellie right away without letting her know or Joel killing everyone. There's still something there in between that could be better, I think. And they just
Yeah, I
needed
don't
to
think you're
communicate
wrong.
with each other, like to find that
Yeah, I
like
think
compromise.
I think you're all making good points. But I mean, we've seen from the beginning that the Fireflies are not super organized. I mean, that's like half the
They seem
reason.
decently organized.
Well, I mean, they were getting like betrayed left and right. That's like the only reason they even let Joel in on this project is because like it was
were in trouble.
a desperate last ditch effort to get Ellie out of there. So
I see.
like we know like the Fireflies and Marlene, they play it kind of fast and loose, and I guess you have to in this universe. So like there's that. Like I understand why they went all like super secretive, super rushy at the end, but that also brings me back to my point. Like they should have shot Joel. If you're gonna go like crazy cruel like that for the greater good, you might as well lean in and go full like kill Joel.
I think it's because Marlene knew who Joel was in the past, and Joel was like I said, like a character who would just, it's a means to an end, right? Like he'll just do it for the guns, for whatever, if it will satisfy his needs. But towards the end, Joel changed as a person, and Marlene didn't know that. That's why she was like, you're free to go. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But she didn't realize. I feel like once Joel started acting up and was like, you need to bring her out now, like,
Yeah,
she
should've
should
shot
have
him.
known.
Shoulda.
But I think she was still, like, her actions was still reflecting her memories of how Joel was in the past. Which is why she was like, hey, smuggle her for these guns, for whatever. And he's like, all right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, mistakes were made. I can't wait for season 2. I know
Yeah.
that much. It was, I mean, no matter
So much
like
crazy stuff
yeah,
happens.
yeah,
Yeah.
no matter what your philosophical
I'm not
ideas
ready.
are.
I'm not ready.
I'm ready. I'm so excited. Oh
I
my
know-
gosh.
I know
want it
some
already.
stuff
I
that
want it
happens.
already. But yeah, I mean, we all enjoyed it, right? Regardless
It
of
was a
how
good
we
show,
feel
for
about
sure. Very
X
well made.
character. Yeah, I think it's gonna be cool to see like where they go now. I mean,
Yeah.
it was an interesting. I mean, it was a great adaptation. I
Yeah.
think it's like one of
As far as video game adaptations
it's
go,
one of the most adaptable games too, I
Yeah.
think, because if we're
Yeah.
thinking about like it's pretty grounded compared to like other things, right? They're just using like kind of like the CG looks great. They're using like
Yeah.
old decrepit, you know, things.
literally the hardest difficulty is called grounded.
Yeah, I know. So it's like it's post-apocalyptic, but it still looks like it, you know, like it could have really happened. I don't know. I just think like if you're gonna adapt a game, it was the right choice to do The Last of Us. And I
Yeah.
hope that this kind of garners more interest in like stories that we see in games that are good, right? Like we
Yeah.
mentioned this earlier, but the superhero bubble is gonna pop. soon. I think, you know, maybe after like the whole. We'll see if DC does well or not.
Yeah.
I think it kind of already did, to be honest.
Yeah, you know what? It's on a decline. We'll see if there is another incline, but if not, I think now studios are starting to see, like, you know, the next franchises that they can wring all the interest and money out of is going to be like games and anime.
Hopefully, we'll see, because we have things like we recently got Uncharted. Drake's Uncharted.
People liked that one. I watched it.
But it wasn't like you compare
wasn't
that,
great.
You compare that adaptation to this adaptation, and there's a clear difference.
I don't think studios care about if stuff is good or not. They care if like it's making money, and I think
But
they're
you
probably
can't-
gonna make a
yeah.
sequel
Well,
to
if
Uncharted.
it's good, you know,
Then
it's probably
you-
gonna make money.
Yeah,
But then
it had great box office results.
There's
Uncharted.
hope. There is hope for stuff like God of War. That story.
Welcome back to
You know what was what was greenlit is a BioShock series, which
that'd be
I'm
interesting.
cautiously excited for. BioShock's
Yeah.
my favorite game. I think it should be cool to see like a kind of dark, steampunky type thing. I know people interested in steampunk. Look at Arcane.
Silent Hill is going to be one too, and
Is it?
yeah, I think it's going to be more
Yes.
eminent. Like it's going to come soon.
Hopefully it's good. I think it's like, I mean, as long as things are like kind of good, like moderately good, there's hope there to like have good stories adapted on screen or on the television.
Resident Evil was one of the first ones, right? And
All the Resident Evil projects are bad though.
I know, but it's like a core memory for me because I really love those movies, and I did try to rewatch.
Like
I think
the Mila
third
Jovovich
one.
ones.
Yeah,
Those are actually
and it was
fun.
terrible.
Those are fun though. I think there's been like new Resident Evil projects. I don't know if you've seen
The
was
Netflix one, terrible.
Yeah, there was a movie, and then there was also a Netflix animated one that's like really boring. Those are not good, but like if things are good, I think there's lots of interest there because gamers are really passionate about these stories, and I'd love to see like more just good stories adapted.
Yeah, I agree.
Adapted well.
Adapted well or moderately well. Uncharted, I didn't play. I watched the movie. It was fine.
I played all.
I played all of them.
Yeah, I played all of
What did you guys
them.
feel about the movie?
It was bad.
It was-
Like,
yeah.
the movie's not
Okay,
good.
it was kind of boring, but
I think it's because I played all of them. I had such high expectations
Yeah.
for it to be really well, especially with
Yeah.
Tom Holland. I didn't
Yeah,
really
he's
care so
a
much
good,
for
charismatic actor.
Yeah.
I showed
But-
my dad the movie. He loved it. So like maybe for people who don't have like that kind of context, maybe
I
there's
just
an opportunity
expected
there.
more. I mean, it was corny. It was like the game, you know. It
Mark
was,
Wahlberg phoned it in from what I saw. He was like not really acting in that one.
Yeah. But then as far as like other franchises, recently John Wick came out.
right.
Yes.
The fourth installment to
I haven't seen it, but
this brilliant.
I haven't seen it either.
Another spoiler alert,
another
guys.
spoiler
Another
alert.
one.
So Crystal and Scott have not seen it, but Christine, Chuku, and I have seen John Wick.
I'm gonna see it tonight.
Chapter
but I don't
4.
care if you guys talk about it because you guys have
I don't know.
comforted
There's not
me and
much to
said it's.
spoil about it. I won't mention the thing that happens at kind of the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
But it was, it's a John Wick movie. Like, it's action packed. It's filled with one-liners from Keanu Reeves, which is great. It like
I love, who's the character I love? It opens up with Lawrence Fishburne as the Bowery King doing this whole like
Right.
monologue, and it's so brilliant. I
was
loved
so
it
Shakespeare-esque.
It was so like Shakespearean. It was like, I love the way that Lawrence Fishburne, I like developed that character is so good. I enjoyed it so much. I recently rewatched the first 3 John Wicks a couple weeks ago, like just in preparation for this one. And his character comes in the second movie, I believe. The second movie.
yeah.
And just like the way that they introduced him in that second movie is so good. And then his character, just the way that it goes throughout all of them. Oh man, I love it so much. I love it. But yeah, that was like how it opened.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is so great.
We love. So it was kind of like campy or like. I mean, that's how like all like American action movies
it's
are.
kind of there's definitely like some goofiness to it. Like
There is.
There was a moment I laughed out loud in it. I watched it with Chuka, and there was a moment where he just like falls out like of a 5-star.
Oh yeah, yeah. Sometimes it's a little.
There's
too-
actually okay. This is what I said earlier, but John Wick is literally Fast and Furious, but with Keanu
But with
Reeves
Keanu
and
Reeves.
actually like pistols and You know, like
I
it's
don't-
ridiculous how whenever he gets shot, they just miss barely, and then
No,
he
no,
just
it's-
No,
turns
no,
around.
no. But
Bulletproof
to me,
No,
no.
I know he has a bulletproof suit, but like it was during the fight where he's in the Osaka Continental and he's like in I don't know, I don't want to say it's a gallery, but kind of like an art gallery,
Yeah,
and in
yeah,
between
with the
you see him
lights.
shoot him, but it just passes over his head.
Oh, yeah.
This happened like 3 times, and I was like, all right, so he's just barely getting missed every time.
Or the part when all the cars were around and they're all after him and
Yes!
nobody's gonna
Looks
shoot
so
him.
cool.
Nobody, like you would think someone would shoot them, but no.
Cinematography of some of the shots that they had in this movie of like you see you're just following as the car's spinning around these other cars. So, like, and nobody's getting able to shoot him. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, or when he's fighting them, like, okay, I don't know if you care about this part too, but they're fighting him. He's fighting on the staircase or stairs.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's just one at a time.
The
You know,
video game
nobody
part.
like really tags to
Yeah.
him. It's
Video
just like
game.
someone's in the back, like,
Doesn't
oh,
he fight
I'm
on
just getting
stairs
up.
in another John Wick movie?
Yes.
Yeah,
So-
probably.
I think so. This it's very stylish, is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
it's very
Yeah.
stylish
Do you
for sure.
say? Would you say that's like what kind of sets this apart from like Fast and Furious? Because those movies are like, if we're thinking about American action films, I think the biggest franchises are John Wick and Fast and Furious, right? Or do you disagree? Is there another action franchise that you think is like up right now? Like surely not
Well-
Expendables, but like
No, there's like 007. I wouldn't say,
But that's not-
but those
that's
are like plot
British.
driven.
those are like British. I'm not
Oh,
going to
okay.
consider
Yeah,
those
that's
like
British.
American, because American action films have this element of like camp, right? And it's fine. I love camp. I like over the top things, but only if it's like stylish, right? Like
It's very
I like
stylish.
RRR.
Yeah.
I like kung fu films. I like Hong Kong cinema action films for sure. I think like when it comes to like American action films, the only ones that I can really like call out that I like are like Rush Hour, but those are like arguably half comedic, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm not like super into American action films. John Wick is nice to look at. I'll admit I don't really understand what is happening in that world.
What's his
and in that
motivation?
universe. I don't really. I
love
didn't
it.
watch John Wick 2, so maybe that's part of it.
That's
Oh,
an important one.
yeah, that was the important one. Yeah, that was.
Reason why,
No, 'cause,
like,
literally, the
That's the
jump
best.
between
Yeah.
John Wick 1 and John Wick 2 is like, it's really major, actually.
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
in the first one, you're just like, oh, what is this, like, the Continental? Like, what is
Yeah.
all of this, like, background
Exactly.
stuff? And then John Wick 2 kind of, like, ramps
just-
it up a little bit.
Yes.
And
you just
it's
dive
like-
right into it.
Yeah,
It
makes
has
a lot
one of
more
the best
context. I can't
fight
imagine-
scenes in John Wick 2.
But
The
also,
one-
you kind of get more of his motivation, because the first one is somebody, you know, killed his dog, took his car, that, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then
Yeah.
the second one, you should watch
it's
it.
his wife's dog that she like gave to him. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying is like, I guess, would you say this is the apex of American action film? And would you say it's because of its style? Or, I mean, like,
I think
This is definitely a
today-
classic.
people like
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves because he's not the greatest actor, but he's like, his delivery is like super funny. I think it works for this film where it's like you
Yeah.
can go kind of like camp, which is like,
I think it's hilarious.
it's not good, but
Yeah.
it's not good, but it's in the name of camp,
Of the
right?
camp.
Yeah.
And so
Because I mentioned the whole like opening with Lawrence Fishburne, like doing this like Shakespearean monologue, and then Keanu Reeves is just like, yeah,
It sets the tone, though. It sets the tone because you know that it's going to be dramatic.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
that's how it is. Like, you can't expect anything less or anything more. You really can't. It's dramatic. It's, yeah.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves just doing one-liners, and you're
It's
like,
so good.
You're like,
It's so
yes.
I think we should also mention the character that Donnie Yen played.
oh my god,
God, that was a beautiful
oh my
character.
god, Donnie Yen.
I didn't know that Donnie Yen was. Wait, actually, I'm not going to say it. I don't know.
the character,
Yeah,
Oh, no,
like-
he's blind. Like,
Okay,
that's in the
I-
trailers.
Oh, it's in
Yeah,
the trailer?
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't. I avoided trailers, so I wasn't sure if it was in
too.
there. But I didn't
Yeah.
know that, so I was like, oh wow,
Yeah.
he's a blind character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's always playing like blind
Yeah.
characters. He's like, you know what? I did it so well in Rogue One. I'm just gonna
No,
gonna
but
bring it
you know
back.
what? It's
Yeah.
good that they did it because that's also like what you expect too.
Yeah.
I heard he had a little bit of creative control over his character because they like wrote his character in, and he's like, I think I want him to look like this, and I want him to be blind because I don't want like another like generic like Asian character, and like
I think he did brilliantly. If
He's-
that was his input,
Yeah, that was a great input.
He's really great. I think
Yeah.
I'm excited to see him at the very least because I like the Ip Man movies. Like I say this a lot, but I do like kung fu films, so I'm excited to see him. And Rina Sawayama's in it. I don't know if you know who she is, but she's like a singer. She's like the one character in the only like Asian girl character in there.
I think
But-
she's
Oh,
the
is it
daughter.
Is she
Yeah.
the daughter?
Oh, is she?
maybe.
Is she
Anyway,
which
does
daughter
the-
though?
She performs the
Probably
song in the
the-
credits. That's her. That's her
The
voice.
one in the credits?
No, I think it's the
There's two
Continental
daughters.
daughter.
No,
I think it's
no.
the Continental one.
The
There's two
Continental daughter. I think that makes
two
more
daughters.
sense. Yeah, there's two daughters.
She's the one in the trailer, like taking her jacket
Yep,
off.
it's the Continental
that's-
one.
Okay.
Okay, well,
Okay.
she's sick. She's a pop star, and I love her. So I'm excited to see her.
Yeah, but-
and it's really energizing to hear you guys like loving this movie so much.
Yeah.
The bar for action movies is pretty high for me because I saw RRR earlier this year.
All right, RRR is on another level, man.
As far as goofiness, it's not like that level of goofiness, but
Yeah.
but
It should be.
it's crazy.
Everything.
It's,
Yeah.
the action is so good,
I
and
will
it
have to
lingers
say-
on the action scenes.
Oh yeah, this
Yeah.
one lingered a lot. Like
Yes.
this movie is literally like 3 hours, right? So it's
Almost
like
3 hours.
like so it's like a lot of the fight scenes like take like it's like
Literally,
literally
like I had like a whole like this fear because I forgot it was like a long movie at first, and the first action scene in the art gallery, it was like taking a really long time. I was like, oh my god, I hope this isn't like the whole movie, because I had that thought with Star Wars, the second of the sequel trilogy, where it was like there's a fight or a spaceship chase scene at the beginning. I was like, oh, I hope this isn't the whole movie. It probably isn't, but it was the whole movie.
What, a chase?
The
A dogfight?
chase scene, yeah, in Star Wars. Which one? The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi. It's like, oh yeah, there's like a chase scene at the beginning, and I was like, oh, I hope this isn't the whole movie. It probably isn't, but it was. And so I was afraid with like when I was watching John Wick 4, I was like, oh, this fight scene is taking a while. I hope this isn't the whole. I hope we get like a little bit of plot in this movie. But then, yeah, I forgot that it was actually a really long movie. And
Yeah.
we
And it
do
was
get
great. There was
some
so
plot.
many. It delivered.
yeah.
It delivered.
And
on
funny
those
enough,
scenes.
it started off with like I think it balanced between the plot and the fight really well, because it started off with a lot of plot in the beginning, and almost like, when are we going to get the fights? You're teasing us too much.
Yeah.
Then you
Yeah.
give us this whole long fight where I'm like,
long
bro,
fight.
can we get us some plot? Like, this is too
Oh,
much.
God.
And then it goes back to plot, and you're like, okay.
And then we get the fight
Yeah.
plot
Again.
in between.
So it's pretty well balanced.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so.
For my own benefit, what did I miss in John Wick 2?
One of the best fight scenes.
There's a really cool fight
Everything.
scene in John Wick 2.
Yeah,
Common is the
Okay, but I mean, like,
Well, it
plot-wise,
was-
is there anything I need to know? If because I watched John Wick 3 and I was admittedly a little lost.
okay. So
John Wick 3 is the one with Halle Berry, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the one.
John Wick 3 is the
and
one with
she
Halle
has her
Berry.
dog.
John Wick 2 is the one where they introduce the table.
Yeah.
And so the table.
So okay, so it's more so like John Wick 1, he went on a revenge spree, right? He got involved with the Continental, whatever. John Wick 2 is where he is trying to get out of this life, right? But he can't because he's still under the table's purview, whatever.
Yeah.
Was he more in the cut because of everything that happened in John Wick 1? Because he broke
No,
rules?
this was actually so kind of, but this was actually something that like was from back in his working days. That
Oh.
somebody like they do a lot to establish, like, further flesh out the lore of that world
Yeah.
in John Wick 2.
What is it? Is it
What
the
is the
coin?
lore?
Or what?
I
It
don't-
was the marker.
There you go, the marker. That's
The
what
What do
marker.
these things mean? I'm sorry. like I'm 5.
All right, so John Wick 2, if you haven't seen it, we're about to spoil John Wick 2 for you, but that's okay. But John Wick 2, basically, this guy comes back into his life. He's kind of like, his sister is a member of the table, right? And
Who's his sister?
just a member of the table. Like the
Okay.
table is this like
Unimportant.
is this like oligarchic ruling group that is
Yeah.
in charge of everybody.
Sure.
And his sister is a member of the table, but he wants to be a member of the table and take his sister's place.
John Wick?
No. The person
her
that came
brother.
back into his
Okay.
life.
And so he goes to John Wick and is like, "Hey, I have a marker on you, which is like, you owe me a debt.
Mm-hmm.
Like, based on the laws of the world that we live in. You owe me this debt.
Like The
and
Witcher.
yeah. And so I need you to kill my sister so that I can take her place. And he's like, I'm out. I want to stay out of this world.
Yeah, he's
but-
like, I retired.
Yeah,
Okay.
but they're like, no, everybody's like, you have to honor the marker. And so there's just like a lot to establish the lore of the world. He does the thing, and then they try to kill him to like close all the loopholes of the plan, and then he ends up killing that guy, the original guy who had the marker. He ends up killing him in the Continental, and in the Continental you're not supposed to do any business, and so I think that's what leads to him being excommunicado.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
in
then
the
it leads
third
to number
movie.
3.
Yeah, and the third movie literally starts with him on the run because
Yeah.
he killed
Okay.
somebody in the Continental.
That's what I missed.
And then that's
Yeah.
when I forgot his name, the manager of the New York
Winston.
Continent, Winston.
Yeah.
That's where he had to like kill John Wick.
Yeah, that's why he had to pretend to kill John Wick.
Yeah.
Did he do it? Did he pretend to kill John Wick?
He did.
In at the end of the third movie,
Yeah.
like
Okay.
when he shoots him off the roof.
Oh yeah, and then he lands in Lawrence
Yeah.
Fishburne's like homeless lair.
Yeah. But that's why John Wick is like, his motivation is he wants to be free of his obligations.
Okay, so
Right.
now this fourth one, even with all that context, is like now it's just its own thing. Like that, everything in like
Well, he's still trying to fight for his freedom. Is
yeah,
what it
and like
is.
2 and 3, yeah. But in like you said in the third one, he was fake killed, and that's all I really need to know, right?
In the third one, he was fake killed, but then people kind of know he's back.
Yeah.
Because in the fourth one, he does something pretty big at the very beginning.
Yeah, but like that's in the fourth one. In the third one, it's almost like things are good, Gucci.
Yeah, but it's almost
Yeah.
like they you don't even
Open-ended.
Well,
Open-ended.
that's fine. I mean, I'm gonna see it when I see it tonight. But I'm
Yeah.
excited now that I know a little bit about John Wick too.
Yeah, but I guess the curiosity would be the future because like we know that there's going to be a fifth one, but then at the
Okay.
same time, I don't know if we should mention what happens to John.
People think he's dead at the end of this one again.
Oh.
So
Spoiler.
I'm not saying why they think he's dead, but they think he's dead.
So that's just the thing. like-
Now they need to go to space or back in time or the future.
so that's the question. Should it be even called John Wick, or is it just going to focus on the other girl?
The 5th one?
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see.
sure he will
That,
be.
I think Amazon and some other networks have picked up
Yeah,
like spin-off
ballerina
series.
or something.
Yeah.
with
I'm
Ana
actually
de
really
Armas.
excited about the ballerina because that whole in the third one when they introduced the Ruskies, that whole his family.
Mm-hmm.
I loved that part with the ballerina aesthetic, and then you have the
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
great.
It's like basically Black Widow, no?
yeah
Yeah, a little bit, but better.
but better. Hmm.
Welcome back, Scott. That concludes our John Wick talk.
Sorry, Belle took me on a long walk.
You're good.
But yeah, I'm really excited about it. I really enjoyed the movie. I think it's really
Yeah,
good.
it was a movie needed after watching, Shazam and all these other disappointing movies that I've seen
Yeah.
this month. So
And that's the thing, like you know what John Wick is going to give you.
Yeah.
So you don't have higher expectations or low expectations. Like
Yeah.
yeah, but like even
Really?
then, sometimes a movie can go like you can have a movie like John Wick and then it can still be bad.
Shitty.
It
Yeah.
could be bad.
Yeah.
So the
But it
fact that it wasn't was
Yeah.
like okay, thank God.
Well, there should be some new good films coming up, right? We have the Super Mario movie.
Yeah, it's coming.
Dungeons
And
and
then-
Dragons next week, which
I've-
might not
I've
be great,
heard-
but
I've heard honestly. Well, I've heard like the consensus is that it's like good, like it's fine, like it's a
I hope so.
if you're into like fantasy, and it's like we don't see a lot of fantasy in film
Right.
these
Yeah,
days.
done
That's
well.
good.
Yeah.
If it's fine. Plus we've all played D&D and we all
Yeah.
like it, right? Like, and if we haven't, maybe we'll do a campaign soon. But like, I don't know. Like, I'm into supporting that because like we want more good fantasy in films and in series. Like, we've House of the Dragon, Lord of the Rings. So like, there is a fan base there. So
yeah.
I
If
just
there's a fantasy movie, I
we
would
all
watch it.
Can we all watch it? Can we get tickets soon for?
I already got my
D&D
tickets.
Movie? I gotta get my tickets. Let's watch it, y'all. Like, I want to see Chris Pine.
I'll watch it
Yeah.
if you guys watch it.
I am watching it. I'm excited for it because like the last one that was really like fantasy deep, which was not animated, that I even remember. I don't even remember.
Yeah,
Like,
I know, like one that's actually good. Like, what was the last good fantasy movie in theater.
I just keep thinking about Lord of the Rings because I've recently watched the extended versions, and that has like everything. It has a wizard, it has like halflings, it has elves, it has dwarves. Like that is the
Wait,
epitome
when you say
of
fantasy,
what
does it have to be live
fantasy-
action or could it be like animated?
I'm thinking
Let's say
live
live
action.
action
Okay.
because we're trying to compare now because there's a thirst for like live action
Yeah.
fantasy films.
And I'm thinking about the ones that hit like, you know, the different types of like species and whatever. I'm not
Like
thinking about
orcs and-
like sci-fi fantasy.
Dwarves,
Yeah.
and
It-
elves.
There's definitely interest.
Wasn't there like a World of Warcraft movie or something?
But it wasn't
but
good.
we didn't watch that.
But it wasn't good.
Has to be good,
So
right?
exactly, if they can pull this off, if D&D is like good, and it seems like they're kind of leaning into comedy and like camp, which I like. If they can pull it off, like I'm into it. Like D&D is the like origin of like everything fantasy, basically. Like the game is like how old, and a lot of stories stem from just like D&D type stories. A lot of fantasy stuff, like lots of like storytellers and filmmakers are into D&D. Like there's a lot of people into D&D
Yeah.
that people don't think about, but I'm just saying there's like a lot of avenues they can take with like a D&D franchise,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They can take literally any story and I'd be like, yeah, I'm sure it happened in a D&D game once, right? And look at all like the D&D streamers that are really popular right now, like Critical Role, like
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
huge. They're always
Yeah.
trending. So, you know, I'm interested to
The
see,
show Legends of Vox Machina.
yeah, Legends of Vox Machina, which
Yeah.
is based on, you know,
Their D&D
based-
story,
based on
yeah.
their RP. I think it would be cool to see those types of stories get the Hollywood treatment. So,
I agree. And I
just
hope
wanna
it
see.
continues down that route.
yeah, let's all check it out.
I hope it's good. I hope it's good. I want to. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so good movies coming up. Good movies that came out last year, and we know because
Of
the
the
Oscars
Oscars.
was kind of I mean, there was a lot of good nominees for sure, but the biggest
Yeah, the biggest
blowout
winner was
was
like, Everything Everywhere.
Everything Everywhere.
All at once.
Not surprised.
I'm
I
not
think-
surprised either.
I think
Deserves it.
I think I think they deserved everything but best supporting actress.
Yeah.
For
Oh,
Jamie Lee
yeah,
Curtis, who
Jamie
I
Lee
love,
Curtis.
but I didn't think that
I did think
it should have been Stephanie
or
or Angela Bassett.
Yep.
So I know some people were a little irked about that, and I can't even be mad at that because they're valid. But I think everything else, Everything Everywhere, fully deserved that sweep. The big three is always best screenplay, best director, best picture, right? So when you win just those three, it's like wow, like
Yeah.
pretty amazing. But they
Yeah.
won so many things.
I
and
remember
I love
watching it and I was like, this is the best movie I've watched. Like,
Ever.
and it's funny, like the Daniels joke, because like on Letterboxd it has like almost a perfect score, and they're like, oh, you know, it's probably based on like recency bias. But like the more I sit with this film, I'm like, it hit especially for me, like the story, just because like if you have like complicated relationship with your parents, if you're a child of an immigrant, like it definitely hits, you know. And I think like that. A winning story, a winning cast, plus the spirit of like the filmmaking they did, which was like super collaborative. I don't know if you've seen like any of like the BTS things, like behind the scenes, like the teams were so like passionate about the different portions they had to work on in this film. Like I just love that kind of like ragtag filmmaking where you can, the passion came through just watching the film. So like seeing like the behind the scenes things just affirmed that. And I don't know, I just really love that spirit of like creativity and collaboration.
Not to
Yeah.
mention it was filmed in Little Tokyo, so hey.
I'm sure, yeah. It was
Shout out.
filmed in Little Tokyo, but also I know they were like in some abandoned like ghost town also in like California somewhere. Like it's very like local, and like the guys that directed all of the stunts and the fighting,
Yeah.
I forgot the name of their stunt group, but those are hometown heroes.
Yeah,
They're based in
I
Westminster.
remember.
They're based in Westminster, and I looked on their old like, you know, videos, and they definitely filmed something on Cal State Long Beach campus. Definitely like in front of ASI. Like I could kind of like recognize like, dude, that's the whole open area in front of ASI that they filmed at. Like
I looked up the
kinda
budget
sick.
too for Everything Everywhere because I was curious because I'm like, this is probably more like of a low budget film, and they kind of sweeps the Oscars, and it was on the lower end. It was like
Yeah.
25 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is low.
A24, their stuff's been hitting because I think, was it After Sun was also an A24 film, and so
Yeah.
was The Whale, and so was Marcel the Shell.
Oh,
They had
yeah.
a lot of films in
That's
the
interesting.
Oscars
Was Triangle of
this year.
Sadness A24?
if it wasn't A24, it might have been Neon, but I can't be sure which one it was.
That was also great too.
They were, yeah, A24 is killing it, and most of their projects are low budget. Because I'm just thinking about like what could have a lower budget than Everything Everywhere, and it's like After Sun, like The Whale. Marcel
Yeah.
couldn't have been a huge budget, wasn't it? Just like claymation. But like, yeah, props to them. Like, you know, maybe we don't need things on a huge budget scale. Like if you have good stories and people that are passionate about these projects, like it's gonna show through in the film. And we saw
Avatar won too for, I think it was effects.
effects,
Of course.
well deserved. I think
course.
Top Gun also won for I don't know,
Sound design.
Sound design.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I think anything editing or sound design like works for them. But Everything Everywhere actually won for editing, didn't it?
Yeah, it won for editing.
Which
Hell
makes
yeah.
a lot of
Yeah, it
sense.
makes
because
sense. It
makes a lot of sense.
You're going back and forth between all these complicated storylines and worlds and universes.
Yeah.
Like,
It
Could have
Editing was
been
amazing.
such a mess, honestly.
It could have,
So
yeah.
the fact that like it wasn't, like, yeah, hats off to the editing team.
Yes.
They deserve
Definitely.
that for being on such a low budget. But yeah, well deserved Everything Everywhere. Clap, clap, clap. You guys did great.
claps all around.
Any snubs you guys think besides Puss in Boots? Puss in Boots, we all love that film. So
Yeah.
It was
I think it
great.
might
I
have
think I
been.
teared up in Puss in Boots.
Interesting.
have you seen it, Chugu?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay.
I've seen it twice.
So good. I've seen it 3 times in theaters. I didn't mean to watch it 3 times in theaters. It just happened. But, you know, I'm not mad about it. It was fun every time that I watched it.
Yeah. It was that was great. I don't know if it would be a snub just because, you know, Guillermo del Toro, Pinocchio. A lot of these are like you're going up against tough competition.
Yeah.
And
But I think it's very like this Oscars, a lot of people saying is very like populist because a lot of the winners were things that people actually like really liked and watched, whereas in the past like people try
I
to
don't
go
know
very
if-
art house, you know.
but then Everything Everywhere didn't really get a lot of love until like the Oscar campaign started.
Really?
It's no, it did.
Everyone who saw it loved it, but not a lot of people saw it. Is what I'm saying.
I think it's been a slowly growing interest in the film. I think in the
'Cause
beginning,
when it was in theaters in its initial run, it didn't get a lot of. Like,
Oh,
I watched it.
okay.
Well, it wasn't supposed to. It was kind of
see.
like a limited run, anyways. Like when I watched it in theaters, it blew my mind, and I think everyone who watched it, it was like a word of mouth type thing.
Yeah,
because
that's
it
fair.
wasn't. It was supposed to be a kind of like not a ton of people watched The Whale in theaters. It was supposed to be
Right.
like that kind of was expected for it, but it went past like what it was projected to make, and it kept coming back into theaters. I remember
Yeah.
I watched it maybe on my 3rd time in theaters when it came back for like one weekend, and it had a foreword from the Daniels saying like, oh, thank you guys gave us a ton of love, so like we're back in theaters. This was months ago. This was
Yeah.
way before like the Oscars like shortlist was even announced. Like this was a long time ago that it came back to theaters after its limited run because people like demanded to see it, and it was making a ton of money. So like I guess however that works, like A24 like, you know, buying more time to be in theaters, like it came back because of like the word of mouth and because it was like already like gaining a bunch of traction. It was so popular.
That's awesome.
And now it's just like, yeah, you know, it's snowballing because of like the Oscars for sure. And
Yeah.
and it's been like the #1 like activity wise on Letterboxd for like weeks and weeks and weeks.
Oh wow.
I think it maybe like wasn't #1 when like Top Gun came out, but then it's like but now it's like back to like number one
number one.
again. It's like kind of crazy how such a little film could like really go so far.
Yeah. I'd watch it again if it comes back out in theaters.
Yeah.
I would too. Hit me up. I also like made this. I also noticed, I told you guys that in the last 4 years, the Oscars Best Picture has been directed by Asians like 3 times, because we had Parasite, Bong Joon-ho. Then
Which
we
was
had
really great.
Chloe Zhao, Nomadland, which I didn't watch, but I mean, hats off to
neither.
her. And then Everything Everywhere by Daniel, so like Daniel Kim. The only one that wasn't directed by Asians was Coda, and like that was last year. But that's what I'm saying. In the last 4 years,
Coda.
what was it?
What else was
Was
Coda
in the
up
running.
against? I can't
Nominations.
remember.
Minari?
Was
I'm
that?
just thinking.
Last year,
Let me look it up.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but like that's interesting, right? Like, you know, Asians, like, rise up, we up right now. Like, you know, in the last 4 years, 3 of the best pictures directed by Asians. That's crazy. Like, that's awesome. And I don't know, it's like a testament to, like, I don't know, if you can do it, you can do it. Like, anyone can get into like filmmaking for sure. Like,
Oh, so you went right in front of the camera for us.
Oh, my God. I didn't realize.
yeah,
okay.
why would you do that? But yeah, the Oscars, you know, nothing super contested besides that best supporting by Jamie Lee Curtis. It is funny though that I feel like Guillermo del Toro is never going to have an uncontested Oscar, because I know a lot
Shape
of people.
of Water is contested.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's
Shape of Water.
He's not gonna get over these allegations, I'm afraid. Like, he's never gonna have an uncontested one, because obviously people did want Shape of Water to get Best Picture, and I feel like a lot of people either wanted like Marcel or Puss in Boots to get Best Animated, but he got it again for Pinocchio, and it's contested. Even though I love him, like, it's just kind of funny. Do we find out what Coda was up against?
I can't even find it.
Coda,
Yeah, Coda's fine for a Lifetime movie.
sure.
Has anyone been watching any anime?
I mean,
Just
the only
Chainsaw
one
Man.
the only
Chainsaw Man.
I was gonna say, My Hero is probably the only one I've been catching up with.
Yeah, dude, My Hero is actually really good right now.
Exactly.
Really?
Yes, exactly. This season got really
Okay.
crazy.
Wait, which part is it on? I
It's a
wonder if I
part
read it.
where it's like Deku's by himself with what's his name? All Might, Endeavor. Trying to think the guy who flies with the
Endeavor.
wings, the bird dude.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like it's all dark, and he's just it's like a more darker kind of tone.
Okay.
Kind of thing. That's the
It's
era.
the
they're going.
protagonist emo phase.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. But it's not completely emo. That's what I like about it. It's not
Is
like
he getting all like jaded about hero work and stuff?
it's not even jaded. It's just that he's realizing that he feels like he can be a liability with his power, his quirk. So he thinks
he's too
it's
strong,
best.
right?
Well, it's not just that. It's just the villains want it. So if the villains want it, it's like that's gonna
The people around you are.
Yeah.
Oh,
are in
because he's the
danger.
only one that can really like transfer his quirk.
Yeah.
right?
So, but I like it because it's really focusing on like the villains and how their plan is starting to get a rise of itself. So it's like the plot is like moving more forward than it was before, and we're starting to see the
it was kind of
abilities and the
stagnant
quirks.
before, and that's when it kind of fell off.
Yeah.
Do
That's
you guys
okay.
watch the movies?
Oh
No.
no.
Oh, okay.
That's okay, because like when it was season, I don't remember what season, but when it got boring, I also felt like, oh, I don't feel like watching this anymore. But
Yeah.
like, I just kept watching it, and eventually it got like really good.
Exactly.
Wow.
I feel like it was a really good payoff. And then, not to mention, I still like that twist that everyone said it was obvious, but it still was a nice twist just because it's like you weren't expecting that to happen in the season. Like you thought it was going to be between a Razorhead and then Deku.
Well,
but then-
yeah.
Wait,
We're not gonna
wait,
spoil.
yeah, we're not going to spoil it. I'm not
Spoil
saying anything. I'm just saying that twist was one of the interesting twists.
Yeah, it was an interesting
I'm
twist.
intrigued. I'm intrigued. I'm gonna jump back into it because I don't know. I did
Yeah.
like it when it first came out.
Yeah, I got to catch up too.
Did we all watch Chainsaw Man? Just Shuki?
Yeah,
I think
I think we all have.
Yeah, I think we all.
Do we like it?
Yeah,
It's good overall.
It's good overall. I do
Yeah.
think it's a little. I felt it was a little overhyped for me.
I agree. I think it was overhyped. I think it looks great, like animation. Mappa, not Mappa. Is it Mappa? Yeah.
Yeah,
they, like,
Mappa.
They do a really great job, but I don't know. It
Fight
was
scenes
like
were good.
It was super hyped.
Yeah, it
like,
was
for me.
super
So when
overhyped.
I watched it, I was like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I want to say it fits like the typical kind of
What's it
anime
called?
style for me.
Shonen?
Shonen.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a typical shonen to me too. Like even Jujutsu was kind of like that. But I think I don't know. Would you guys think it was overhyped or appropriately hyped?
I thought it was overhyped for like the first maybe half or 2/3 of the season, and then once it got to like that turn where like people started dying,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, this is really, really good.
Finally.
I'm really enjoying this. So yeah, I'm still gonna keep watching it, but I really enjoyed where it left off. Like I love a good training
Yeah,
sequence.
exactly.
So
I think the story is cool and I think the fights are cool, but I don't know if I really like any of the characters that much. In
I
my
like
Yeah.
Power. She was annoying
She's
at
cute.
first.
Yeah.
But then like she grew on me. So I
I
really like Power.
don't. I just feel like there's no character arc for the main character.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Keyword yet.
Agree. I know he's
I
like
mentioned
the
a
main
long time
character.
ago.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, we had
he
this
has no
discussion.
good goals I can get behind.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so like
exactly.
I feel you on that.
now I see what y'all were talking about. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm watching and I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I really like this dude or
Yeah.
anyone in this series.
Yeah.
Whereas like I don't know why I keep comparing to Jujutsu. Maybe it's because it's like the
They
last
look
one I
very
watched.
similar.
In Jujutsu, I actually do like everyone in that series. I don't know why. They just had like a little more personality, a little more flair, and like that's what kind of kept me interested in like Chainsaw Man. I was like kind of waiting to really like root for someone, and I don't know
Yeah.
if I am rooting for anyone.
I think
just
because
yet.
Jujutsu, you understand the motivation behind everyone and why they're fighting, but this one is more so like they're
Wait.
fighting to like protect people, but it's not like a very serious
like-
motivation.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a contractual obligation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one of
but-
them just needs to do it for a good life. The other one just wants to do it for food, and like the
Yeah.
rest have to do it for money.
I know
And,
there's
like,
yeah,
to
I'm
stay
sure there's a
alive.
purpose. I know they were trying to get like a little philosophical with
Yeah.
it, but that kind of like fell flat to me. Like, I don't
Exactly.
know.
Well, I mean, what is the motivation for Jujutsu Kaisen for each character? Because I don't
Well-
remember at all.
Me, I think one of them was the main character. He just wanted to live because his grandpa died, right? If I remember in the first episode.
Well, morally they're like good. They're like into that because
I
they,
mean,
like,
that's so
wanna be.
similar to that main character who's orphaned and just wants to live a good life.
Well,
This is like
his
same
motivation
character?
is also more. I thought it was really funny because for
I thought the first episode was really good at highlighting like how he had a shit life and then
Yeah.
this Chainsaw Man.
Chainsaw Man.
Yeah.
Chainsaw Man.
I don't really know.
I know.
Jujutsu Kaisen.
Maybe they're actually the same.
But also like I thought it was really funny when his motivation was like, oh, I want to touch some boobs. Like,
Yeah, but my issue with that was that it felt like it was incongruent with the tone because this tone was very like dark and
Yeah.
very like gory, and then he's saying that, but it's not said in a way that's like comedic.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like
It's like he's serious.
he's
about-
really serious
like,
about it.
seriously
So it's
wants
like
to
it's a
do-
little weird. And I was,
It's
and
like,
I was-
oh, okay.
yeah, and that was kind of where I thought it was a little overhyped because I'm like, if I'm getting a story and a motivation, I want it to be, like, I want
Yeah.
compelling.
It's a
Completely
little-
compelling.
It's a little jarring when it
Yeah.
like goes from like dark stuff to like boobs.
yeah.
Like,
But it's like
yeah.
the same
Unless it was
tone
a
of
like again, if it was a comedy
it
show,
is like contrasting a little bit. But yeah, no, you're right. Like
It's-
it has
yeah.
the same, it carries the same tone. It's
That's
like,
part of it for me. It's like a little too much fan service, in my opinion, in this one
There was
versus
a lot
like
of fan service, yeah.
Jujutsu.
I mean,
Yeah,
have you
he
seen
pukes.
Food Wars? That's,
Nope.
but I have to
Not
say,
seen
Food
Food Wars.
Wars, very good story,
yeah.
all right,
minus the fan service.
all right.
Again, like if it had a nice balance, I would totally be fine with it. But this one was like weird off of balance. So
It was yeah. I'm with you. Something is like a little not balanced.
Going back to my question though, with the motivations, like I feel like to me both shows equally have like characters I don't care about.
Yeah. There are characters, some characters you don't care about, some characters are, but I feel like Jujutsu Kaisen has more characters that have more of a backstory.
Right. I guess.
but to be
You
be
know.
fair, we only had 13 episodes of Chainsaw Man, and Jujutsu Kaisen was like 22 or something. Like
was
that.
it?
Or like 20? It was like 20 episodes for first season.
I
Did I
see.
watch all of them?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there was more
I just feel like I
episodes.
did not care much about the characters.
I feel you. I
in
feel you.
Jujutsu Kaisen.
I mean,
even though I knew their backstories.
It does take
fair.
a while for it to get to a good part, at least from what I remember when I was reading. It took a while for me to get like really invested, and then when like shit happens,
Yeah.
you're just like, oh shit.
I've seen a little context on Twitter because I follow a lot of artists, but doesn't it get crazier when it kind of goes into his like sensei's past with the Gojo. It kind of goes into like Gojo's past, right? And then they're like some of those characters, and like that's when it really gets crazy. No,
I think for me, it didn't really hit until, again, similar to what OC was saying, when characters start dying, like
Oh.
main characters
whoa, okay,
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I mean,
Wait, in Jujutsu
I have a-
Kaisen or in
in
okay.
Jujutsu.
I have a question for you guys. Why do you like main characters dying so much?
It's not the fact that it's not just that main character is dying. I think what it is it ramps up the seriousness of the story that we're watching, and so it gives it a little bit more weight.
Yeah.
As opposed to like when you start out, it feels just. It kind of just feels normal,
Like one-dimensional?
and regular,
Yeah.
one-dimensional, and I think just adding stakes is a good way to
Yeah.
add.
Gotcha.
It's like Game of Thrones when Ned
Yeah.
Stark dies.
Similar to
Sure,
that.
but what-
Ned Stark's death was good. Like it was well crafted.
Yeah, I was
and-
gonna ask, like, what in Chainsaw, which death did that for you? Because some characters
I don't
died.
care about them.
When the girl died.
iPad
When her,
girl.
yeah.
iPad.
You
I
care?
don't-
I don't know.
Sorry,
I didn't really.
it was eye patch
yeah,
girl
I
for
don't
me
know.
because I didn't
really
think she
care
was
too
gonna
much.
die.
Dang, Scott and
Yeah.
I did not care.
Yeah, I was just like,
No, you're not the only one.
she did.
I think because the only
I was like, oh well, that's part of the job. it's all in a day's work.
yeah, but the
Like, should
only
I care?
character that you could really connect with was the guy, who was her partner. Really, that's like the only character, and
Yeah.
she was such a big part of his life that when she died, it was like, oh shit, like she died.
Yeah.
Like
no,
she
it's-
sacrificed herself for him,
Yeah,
even
but I
though
feel-
it was for like remember me, like that.
Yeah, I
was-
feel like it wasn't built up though. I feel like it wasn't earned for me to care about her. It just felt like she died, and
Ye-
sure, it adds stakes. So I agree with OC for that because that definitely changes things in terms of like, they can actually die, but it still didn't feel like a
Earned.
very impactful death to me.
I think
But the thing
after
is
her
that,
death,
like-
it was more impactful.
But her death was also in the context of like we were given we thought a bunch of other characters died at the same time too. So it wasn't just the eye patch girl. It was like, oh, also the main boss chick also might be dead, and then also
Nah, I didn't believe that for a second.
I know they all died. And I was like, that was like the ending
I-
of an episode. And I was
But it
like,
was
wait,
like-
did they just all die? And then now I'm like more.
But it was
interested.
when her demon came back, Ghost, the one she had contract with, and he had to fight her. That was like
That was a
man,
good
that
fight.
kinda-
I will give that. I will.
Yeah.
Give you
yeah,
that.
like so it was more impactful after she died. Like he read the note that she wrote to
Yeah.
her sister. You know, like things. More of the character's personality came out after she died.
That's true. That's true. It
That's-
propelled the story forward,
Yeah.
or it propelled some character growth for Aki. So yeah.
But I think it would have been cool if we spent a little more time with her. Also, I'm in that boat with you, Scott.
Sorry.
Even Belle's frustrated.
So we'll see. I guess now I'm just excited to see people die in Jujutsu. That makes me just more excited to see people die in Jujutsu.
But from what I remember, it was like a while until I got
fine,
to that
I'll
point.
take it. I want to
while?
feel it. I want to
Oh,
feel
man.
something, y'all.
feel something.
I want to feel something. Anything.
Yeah. The character deaths in a show is actually a very interesting topic, in my opinion.
Attack on Titan.
Oh,
was an-
They
I
really
did.
hit for me in Attack on Titan.
So yeah,
I'll
Attack
be real.
on Titan. I remember. Well, okay, they have a lot of character deaths.
I mean, they
But-
still do.
It's
I'm
yeah.
not gonna say anything.
I know.
Yeah, I haven't watched the recent.
I
Me
heard it's
neither.
not bad. Have you watched the new season?
I mean, you mean
not a
the
season.
part? I mean, yeah, I enjoyed it.
Part two.
part 2, part 3,
I've been
Part
hearing
three,
good
part three,
part
yeah,
four, part
part
five.
three.
None of us are watching it.
I watched. Yeah, I
haven't.
watched it. Part 3, the part
I'll
3,
get
part
around
1.
Do you
it.
like it?
I enjoyed it.
I'm hearing good things about it.
Because, like, again, like I said, I finished the manga, so I did. Even when I read the manga, I enjoyed that final fight scene. It's just the aftermath after that's where the issue comes in. But the final fight scene is pretty cool.
It's
so.
like spoilies, or do we kind of already?
No, we're not
No,
spoiling people.
don't spoil
I'll
it.
watch it eventually.
Yeah.
Okay,
You
okay,
watch
okay.
it.
That's fine. But I mean, I guess the subject was character deaths, and you were gonna say something, OC?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that was just like initial with Attack on Titan. But even then, like the character deaths were different. So they killed Eren like pretty early, like episode
Yeah.
5, and then we were like, "What? Eren is dead?"
Yeah.
That really hit though,
Exactly.
because we
Yeah.
had 5 episodes with him, right?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and he's the protagonist.
Exactly.
That's
It's
what
very,
I'm saying. This
It's
is like
very-
Game of Thrones.
it's very well. I mean, not Chainsaw Man, but Attack
No,
on
no,
Titan
yeah.
for sure. We made a lot of comparisons to Game of Thrones and
We
Attack on
did.
Titan back in
Yeah.
the day,
Yeah.
and I think that those arguments stand up. It's a lot of. Well, I mean, think about the end of Game of Thrones also.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
and
don't.
no, I mean, I know that.
no,
Like,
no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, morally, right? Like, we know they
Alright.
deal a lot with morals in the series.
But you can
Stay
say that
away
for
from-
a lot of animes.
No,
so-
but-
spoilers.
No, a lot of animes are
Spoilers.
not.
No,
Yeah,
I'm just
because-
talking about up until the point that we watched too. OC.
Okay,
I
yeah.
just there's still a lot of things that you can compare to Game of Thrones
Sure.
in Attack on Titan. Anyway, I'm just saying all the deaths in Attack on Titan really hit. They stick with me. I remember everyone that died, even the people I don't like. And like, I don't know, like something about that is a little different in Attack
I think
on
Game
Titan.
of Thrones just does character deaths really, really well.
Yeah.
In the same vein, like that's what Attack on Titan was.
Except for
me.
the last season. But
Yeah, except
okay.
for the last few seasons, but
But I'm thinking like
Anyways.
just like the character arc, like morally, like there's just like a lot of similarities there and like Game of Thrones. And well, I mean, because any moral story where people like their things shift, like I guess you could compare them, but like I don't know, just something about Game of Thrones and Attack on Titan that were like in the same vein for me.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, I still think when I was watching Attack on Titan and we got to Aaron's death, I was excited because I was like, wow, this is something different. But then when he came back, I was like, oh snap!
Same, yeah.
I was like, this is gonna be
I
one of
had the
those
same
Gundam anime.
I had the
stuff.
same exact
It's a mech.
thing.
That's what I thought. I was like, oh, here we go.
I had the same exact thought because like I was like, oh, this is amazing. Like when Aaron died, I was
remember
like, this
this.
is
We
amazing.
talked about this.
I think this was like in high school or
yeah,
something.
no,
It came
college.
around. It came around when we were. It came around like when we were leaving senior year.
Yeah, this was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Wait, no way.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
season 1 of Attack on Titan.
Yes, it's 2013.
Oh, right.
2013.
Attack on Titan is
2013.
old.
Yes.
It's old.
2013. Yeah.
You
It's
are
season
right.
1 of Attack on Titan.
I remember my friend cosplaying that.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Remember
And
those
so
times
yeah,
were crazy.
I definitely was like, oh my god, he died. Like this is crazy. But then they brought him back, and I was like, I remember expressing that I felt a little disappointed.
Yeah, I did.
That they brought him back. But
that's
then
what I thought Chainsaw Man was gonna do. They're gonna kill all these people, and it's just gonna be a dream or something.
It's all just a dream.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, is this all real? Like, I feel like this is not real. Like, they're gonna somehow be brought back.
yeah.
Hopefully we're proven
They're
wrong.
dead, dude.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I think I'm excited for some of the future anime stuff. Looking forward to some good stuff. I'm still low key stuck in Thriller
One
Bark
Piece?
of One Piece. I'm in the last 9 episodes. Of
I need
Thriller
to
Bark.
catch up. I stopped sometime like last year because I caught up already, and then
Oh, you are?
You
no,
caught
last
up?
year it was last year.
Still.
That's like 1,000.
Yeah, it was a lot. I watched that
Good job.
every like when I was driving. When
What? You did?
I just had it on.
I love Osie's reaction.
Okay, it's really
You're
bad.
like, oh, I watched it when I was drunk. How? Tell me.
I have a little pop socket that
No.
holds my thing where it shows my
You
mileage,
can't be
and I just
watching
put it
One
there.
Piece
And you
while
watch
you're
it sub too,
driving?
don't you? Wow.
How do you watch it sub driving?
But
That's
it's
weird.
because at that time,
Well,
like
that's
there
why
was a
she's
lot
caught
of
up and you're
traffic.
not. So
There was just
Alright.
so
You're gonna
much
have to do
traffic
something.
Oh.
that I would just sit there, like you just inch forward, right? So it's for me, like it's doable. Granted, I shouldn't be doing that, but
Yeah.
yeah.
but you caught up, so worth.
Yeah.
Come
There's
on,
a lot
OC.
of fillers.
What's
There's
your
so many
excuse,
fillers.
OC? Safety?
Don't worry.
Get out of here. You drive a Jeep, you're fine.
All right.
She doesn't do it anymore.
Yeah, I
okay?
don't. Not anymore.
I mean, she's got like what 100 or 200 episodes now to catch
Yeah.
up on. So
I have a lot.
Are you still super motivated? Like, is it worth it?
I feel like as soon as I get past this hump, it'll be
Wait, where are you again?
fine. Thriller Bark. I'm like in the last 8 or 9 episodes of Thriller Bark.
I think I
What
remember
episode
that.
number is that?
Like 380 something.
Oh wow,
What?
you're
You're not even
in the
close.
beginning. That is.
You're not even close, dude.
Yeah, just get over that hump. That's where like
need to
they're
just
kind of
stop,
in the
dude.
No,
haunted
was
house
like,
type of thing.
Just
Yeah,
stop.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I was like,
You're
I
never
was pretty-
catching
I was
up, dude.
super motivated all through Water 7, all through
You're about to-
Ennis Lobby.
It gets a lot better.
Yeah, you're about to
loved
hit
Ennis
like
Lobby.
Yeah.
you're about to hit some gold.
Okay.
Yeah, it gets a lot better. This I agree with you. This
I
part
don't
is
agree.
kind of
You should stop.
eh.
Yeah.
But it does get a lot better. It does
just need
because
to
then
get over the
you get more character arc and more motivation and
Yeah,
like things happen and you know.
I just need to get over this hump. I got 8 more episodes.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
need to
Just
get
keep
through
digging.
it
Oh, okay.
Keep digging,
You're
man.
good. You're good.
in
Wow,
this
you're like
arc.
in the baby years of One Piece right now.
It's like the animation's still like not great. Like,
Yeah,
you need to get past this.
it's
dude.
still a square. It's not like full screen yet.
Yeah, that's. I didn't
No,
know. I
it's-
thought you
I
were
think
like
it's
on
full
in the
screen at this
500s or
point.
something, and
Yeah, I
I was
thought
so
so.
wrong.
No, I'm not in the 500s yet. But
Maybe I'll catch up. I have to be on like maybe episode 100 or something.
Yeah,
We'll
I think
see.
that's like they're in the desert.
I've been hearing a lot of good stuff about this one anime, Vinland Saga. I watched like the first season. Did you guys ever watch
No, I've
any
also
of
never
it?
heard
heard
it
of
though.
it.
It's pretty good. If you guys are into
It's like a revenge story,
Viking
right?
stuff, yes, it's like Hamlet kind of. It's like
Oh.
did you
Rage of
watch the
Dragons.
Northmen? Did you watch like the Northmen?
also
Yeah,
read
it's
It's
Hamlet.
basically based on like that
I love the Northman.
yeah, it's based off of the myth of like Hamlet or whatever,
Okay.
which is what Hamlet was based off of also. So it's like it's a revenge story, and like I watched the first season, it looked good and it was pretty good. It was about like this Hamlet type character that like grows into his own like Viking type thing, but. I don't know. Maybe that's all one we can like
Yeah, maybe we'll
watch
check it
together.
out,
I want to
yeah.
be like motivated to watch it because I hear nothing but good things about
Yeah,
it. Like, people
I'll
are
give it a
really
shot.
into it. Okay, let's all watch it.
Here's a real quick recommendation if you like sports anime.
Sports?
No,
Wait, which one? I
You've never watched Haikyuu?
I
I
didn't.
still
Never got
haven't.
into it.
is this the soccer one?
Yeah, it's Blue Lock.
Blue Lock. I heard a lot about that one too.
Really?
It's very entertaining. Like it gets a little repetitive sometimes, but so far it's been pretty entertaining.
Is it like Shaolin Soccer?
No.
Oh,
It's more like Haikyuu. Is it kind of like Kuroko no Basket or?
A little
Better.
It's kind of like Haikyuu and Kuroko no Basket, but
I'll probably put on while I eat or
I
something.
think it's because I don't like sports that I don't
You don't like
want to
any
watch a
sports?
sport anime.
not even dodgeball.
but if you watch it as
Or,
an
well,
anime,
I
it's
don't
so
know.
different. Like,
I know it's different. I know like the skills and like the shit is.
it's like super
You like
dramatic.
Yeah.
They're about to like
you said
hit a
you
ball.
watch Creed. You like boxing.
Yeah, you know, you're right. Okay, I'm being hypocritical now. I don't know. Maybe it's just sport anime. Like I didn't
I
get
think
into it.
I think Blue Lock does something a little bit interesting. It's like it's sports, and it has that like team element, but it also has that like elimination aspect of like things like Squid Game and whatnot. They don't die, but
nice. No, just
but they get eliminated. You know, so
Okay.
okay.
so they're like out of the running to be like the top soccer players or whatever.
Wait, that's kind of
It'll
cool.
be like at the bottom of my list to watch.
Sure, I don't think,
But at least it's on a list.
it's just entertaining. You know,
It's like trials.
It's
I
not like you
guess.
have to watch this. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all.
I personally think Haikyuu is still top tier like anime though.
Haikyuu has like so many dedicated fans. I haven't watched it, but
oh, Bleach
seen
is
Kuroko no
like
Basket.
coming back up again.
Yeah, I've been watching it's on hiatus now again
What?
until
Oh.
the
Bleach?
next. Yeah, it had like mid-season finale and
Is it good?
I mean, it's not bad.
It's not bad.
Okay.
I heard the new Trigun's good. You know what I'm
Oh,
talking about?
they brought back Trigon.
Yeah, it's like a Trigun
Interesting.
reboot. It's like Trigun something. It's on Amazon Prime, but
Okay.
I watched the first episode. It was pretty cool. I don't know.
Interesting.
Maybe that's another one if you're looking for an anime. I'll let you
Yeah.
guys know if we should concentrate on Vinland Saga or Trigun.
Trigon.
Blue Lock. Let me know, guys.
Blue Lock.
Anyone decides to watch it.
All right. Nice.
All right. Well, I think that's pretty much everything. We talked for a pretty long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that discussion. Our first live stream discussion with all of us in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely a good experiment to do. All right. Well, catch you guys later.
Catch you later.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Peace.
Wait, I gotta stop it.
Oh yeah.